in some of the Israelites from the royal family and the nobility, young men without any physical defect, handsome, showing aptitude for every kind of learning, well-informed, quick to understand, and qualified to serve in the king's palace. He was to teach them the language and literature of the Babylonians. The king assigned them a daily amount of food and wine from the king's table. They were to be trained for 3 years, and after that, they were to enter the king's service. And then we'll turn over to Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 12. Romans 12, verse 1. Therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies in living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, perfect, and pleasing will. You may be seated.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Al. Well, I'd like to welcome Chris back to church. She's been in rehab, so and I believe you're all done with the rehab, right? So it's good to have you back, Chris. Our prayers are with you. Would you like to be closer to God? Okay, well, I'm done then. Nobody said yes. So, would you like to be closer to God? You meant to say yes, right? I know you did. I know you did. Well, here's a guy who felt that he was close to God. This is a letter written by a youth pastor in Zimbabwe who had, after this letter had been received by his family, he was martyred for his faith. It says, I'm part of the fellowship of the unashamed. I have the power of the Holy Spirit in me. The die has been cast. I've stepped over the line. The decision has been made. I am a disciple of His. I won't look back, let up, slow down, back away, or be still. My past is redeemed. My present makes sense, and my future is secure. I'm finished and done with low living, sight walking, smooth knees, colorless dreams, tamed visions, worldly talking, cheap giving, and dwarfed goals. I no longer need preeminence, prosperity, position, promotion, or popularity. I don't have to be right, first, tops, recognized, praised, regarded, or rewarded. I now live by faith, lean on His presence, walk by patience, am lifted by prayer, and labor with power. My face is set, my gait is fast, my goal is heaven, my road is narrow, my way is rough. My companions are few, my guide is reliable. My mission is clear. I cannot be bought, compromised, detoured, lured away, turned back, deluded, or delayed. I will not flinch in the face of sacrifice, hesitate in the presence of the enemy, pander at the pool of popularity, and meander in the maze of mediocrity. I won't give up, shut up, or let up until I have stayed up, stored up, prayed up, paid up, preached up for the cause of Christ. I am a disciple of Jesus. I must keep going until He comes, give until I drop, preach until all know, and work until He stops me. And when He comes for His own, I pray that He will have no problem recognizing me. For my banner is clear. It says disciple. Are you that close? Would you like to be? Doesn't that I just love that. I want to be that close to Jesus. But maybe some of us have gotten to a place where we're like, yeah, I think I'm about as close as I'm going to get. I think I'm close. This is probably, I've experienced all I can or ever will experience of the Lord. A couple of hundred years before Christopher Columbus sailed and discovered this land, there was a statue in Spain, and the statue said, "Ne plus ultra." That's Latin for no, I gotta find it. Can you believe that? Where did it go? I know what it means. I do. No more beyond. Ne plus ultra. No more beyond. That was there for about 200 years before Christopher Columbus sailed. Now you'll find another statue there in Spain of a lion, and at the base it has the words "Ne plus ultra," but you can't see the first word because the lion is eating them. And it just says, "More beyond." And I just wonder, as Christians, if we think "Ne plus ultra," if we think, I'm here, this is the life that I have, I love Jesus, I come to church every week, I sing in the choir, or I teach a Sunday school class, "Ne plus ultra." But you know what? There is more. There is more. Do you want to be closer to God? That's the main question this morning. Do you want to be closer to God? Well, sometimes instead of getting closer to God, we settle. You see, God has His best for us. And that passage that Pastor Al read in Romans tells us that we can have that. We can have His good and perfect will in our lives. We just need to not be transformed by this world, but let our minds be renewed. Most of us would agree that these things that are going to come on the next slide are not God's best. Relationships that don't work. Marriages that don't last. Fears that control us. Loneliness that haunts us. Addictions that imprison us. Jobs that bore us. Debt that consumes us. Guilt that depresses us. And futures that discourage us. I think we all agree those are not God's best. But if I asked each one of you to take a pen, your pencil, and check off what you are experiencing in your lives, I bet there would be a lot of check marks on that paper. And it doesn't have to be that way, because I believe we can experience God's will in our relationships, God's perfect will in our relationships, His perfect will in our marriages. We live in a foreign land. And you know, one of the best stories that I think illustrates this morning is found in the book of Daniel. Daniel's journey reveals how God's best for our lives, how we can get God's best for our lives in a hostile land. Daniel's journey reveals how to get God's best for our lives in a hostile environment. You see, Daniel was a young man, and